My name is Janae Tate, and I'm going to demonstrate the Phonation Lab 2. I'm going to do part 1, which is the Palpation Lab. And first, I'm going to put my finger on my thyroid notch. Which is right here. And I'm going to roll my finger up to my thyroid bone. That's where my nail is. Then I'm going to go back to my thyroid cartilage. And now I'm going to move down to my cricoid cartilage. Pressing on it slightly. Now I'm going to demonstrate a dry swallow while still touching my cricoid. I noticed that my cricoid cartilage elevated, moved up towards my thyroid cartilage. Now I'm going to demonstrate singing 2 pitches. And I'm going to say what's that movement of my cricoid cartilage relative to my thyroid cartilage. So, So I notice when I sing a high pitch, my cricoid cartilage elevated towards my thyroid cartilage. When I sing a low pitch, my cricoid cartilage moved down away from my thyroid cartilage. So those are my 2 movements. Now moving on to part 2, which is the Bernoulli Lab. So I have my materials, which is my table tent, my piece of paper, and my straight straw. So before we get started, I'm going to make my predictions. My predictions are when I use the straw to blow on the piece of paper at a steady pace, the paper is going to move slowly forward. Because if I'm blowing at a steady pace, I'm not having an increase in velocity, so I'm still having that high pressure, so I'm not going to have much movement according to the Bernoulli's principle. However, if I blow with a harder force on the piece of paper, I feel like the paper is going to move or accelerate quickly forward, because if I'm blowing at a harder force, I have more velocity and I'm going to have lower pressure, which is going to create greater movement. So let's actually demonstrate to see what happens. So I'm going to first start off with my steady pace of movement, blowing into the air tent in the middle portion of this paper tent. So I noticed when I blew at a steady pace in the middle portion of this table tent that I had some movement of the table tent, but it wasn't a great movement. And I'm thinking because of the Bernoulli's effect that I was blowing at a steady pace, so I did not have a true increase of that velocity. So I had high pressure, so I did not have a lot of movement. I was not moving those air molecules very fast through that table tent, therefore I did not get a lot of movement. So now let's try with a greater force. Let me blow hard through the straw, through that same middle area. Okay, so as I expected after thinking about it more, so when I blew harder in the center of the table tent, I created more velocity. I was moving those air molecules in the center very fast through, creating that low pressure, causing that table tent to collapse because of that great airflow, that harder airflow that made those air molecules move at a lower pressure, which again caused that table tent to collapse. So in conclusion, with Bernoulli's effect, he basically said when you have a higher velocity, you have lower pressure, that's going to create movement. When you have a lower velocity, you're going to have higher pressure and you're going to have less movement. And that was demonstrated here in this lab today. Thank you.